What is the #1 secret to doing great, powerful, easy, sharp, intuitive readings? I'm going to reveal that in this video, but just know it's not what you think. It's something very simple. And so I am Brent Phillips here with this series on Ignite Your Intuition. We got a whole bunch of amazing videos full of insights, tips and tricks and shortcuts to help you to skyrocket your intuitive ability. Because after all, I'm sure you already know that developing intuition is one of the single most important things you can do for your long-term success. And I'm here to support you in that. So, what is it that is this #1 secret? It's actually pretty simple. The #1 secret to doing good readings is to have no fear or worry about doing a bad reading. And that sounds kind of funny, right? But this is the most important thing. It reminds me of when I learned a really important life lesson early on when I was at MIT that had nothing to do with the classroom. It had to do with ice skating. And it was pretty simple that I had gone ice skating with my girlfriend when the rink opened, and I had never skated before, right? I grew up in Southern California. We didn't really have a lot of ice rinks. It really wasn't a thing that we did. But when I was in Boston at MIT, ice skating was huge. So my girlfriend took me ice skating, but we didn't go in right away. She took me outside and made me practice falling down on a block of ice for like 20 minutes. And I was tired and I was wet and my butt was frozen and I was a little annoyed. I'm like, hey babe, I'm not here to fall down and freeze my butt. I want to go ice skating. And she was like, no, Brent, you learn to fall first. And so I practiced falling. And after about 30 minutes, she's like, okay, we can go in. And we went in, and every single person there other than me, for their first time on skates, they were all standing petrified, rigid, holding onto the side rail, terrified of falling. Me, I had never ice skated before in my life. And I jumped onto the ice and started zipping around doing crossover turns. Why is that? It's simple. My girlfriend at the time understood this powerful metaphysical lesson. And it's this: as long as you're afraid of falling, you'll never be very good at ice skating. You can't be afraid of failure. This is true in all areas of life. It's certainly true in ice skating, right? I wasn't afraid of falling because I had practiced falling. So I was able to skate. Did I fall that day? Of course I did. It was my first time. Of course I fell, right? But I was fine. I just got up, dusted myself off, and kept going. Every other person there, their first time on skates, was standing rigid and terrified, holding onto the side rail. Why? They were afraid of falling. It's this way in business. There's a saying that goes something like this: the average millionaire has gone bankrupt 3.5 times. I don't know if that's technically true. I don't know what that's based on. But the concept is powerful. That people willing to take big risks and willing to incur big failures also are the biggest winners. It's certainly this way with dating and attraction. I learned as a man that if I was confident and simply went and asked out the women I was interested in, sometimes they'd say yes and sometimes they'd say no. It's that simple, right? You never know. But if you're afraid of the rejection, you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to be alone and desperate. And this is also true of intuition, of energy healing, of law of attraction. As long as you're afraid of failure, you can never achieve a high level of success. So that's the teaching. But I want to do more than just give you good advice. I want to give you action steps on how to apply this to improve your life. So how do we do this? Well, we recognize with intuitive readings, the biggest secret to being good is being fearless about being bad. So I would say, if you want to be a great intuitive reader, go out and do as many readings as you can, expecting a lot of them to be bad. Why is that? Well, anytime you're not good at something, you're probably going to do it poorly, right? Just like me ice skating that first day. I was terrible, right? But it was fun. As I practiced more, I got better. I started playing hockey, right? I got much better at it. But of course you're going to be bad. And if you're afraid of the failure, the rejection, you're never going to get good. So how do we deal with this? Well, there's a couple ways. The first way is a spiritual solution. that is so impactful, it's hard for me to even put words on it. It's the process of awakening, coming to understand the truth of what you are. What is consciousness? What is life? What is God? Why are we here? How does it all work? It's understanding the nature of the self. And I don't want to get too much into awakening because that's a deep rabbit hole all on its own. But I call my system awakening dynamics because awakening is the core, it's the foundation of understanding what you are. What is this consciousness? What is this life force? This mind, this body, this soul. What is it and how does it work? And here's the key. When you are fully awake, you will lose a lot of your fear. You will not be nearly as afraid of failure, loss, losing your job, getting dumped, being divorced, even losing your money. Because you will have a firm connection to truth and know you're supported. So awakening is a long way to go about it, but that is your long-term solution. And awakening will absolutely supercharge your intuition. Why? It'll make you fearless about making mistakes. If you'd like to learn more, you can check out the comments below. We can also check out the URL here for 30 Days to Awakening. I think you'll love it. It's my step-by-step program designed to walk you through the process of awakening. So if you're interested, there it is for you. But that's not our only tool here. Our second tool is recognizing that sometimes a bad reading is exactly what someone needs. And that sounds kind of crazy. You're like, wait a second, Brent. Why am I going and paying a psychic money to give me a bad reading? You're not, right? No one would ever do that. Not intentionally. But sometimes the bad reading is exactly what someone needs. Let me give you a real-life example. There was a man who was going through a very difficult time in his life. And there were two things going on. One was he had gotten involved in an investment scam. And he had lost nearly $1 million and was facing bankruptcy. This on its own was devastating. Almost drove him to suicide. So that was a really, really hard thing. At the same time he was dealing with that, he had also fallen crazy head over heels in love with a woman. But she wasn't interested in him. She was just using him. Just used him as her puppy dog best friend. Whenever she needed something or to be rescued or borrow money, he was there, right? But they never kissed, they never slept together, nothing like that. So that was a difficult situation too. So here's what happened. Right before he went bankrupt, he scheduled 6 more sessions with his psychic, 1 a month for 6 months. And every session started with, what's going to happen with her? Is she going to like me? Are we going to end up together? And every month for 6 months, his psychic said, yes, don't worry, just hang in there. She'll see the light. She'll fall in love with you. You'll be together. Don't give up. And so for 6 months, this went on. After 6 months, she married someone else and moved out of the country. That was game over, right? It was clear that relationship was going nowhere. The psychic was wrong. She was not going to be with him. She was not going to see the light. They were not going to be together. But those bad readings probably saved his life. No joke. Why? The stress of dealing with the bankruptcy and the money loss at the same time as the heartbreak probably would have been too much for him. Probably would have killed him. He was already borderline committing suicide already, right? But by going to a psychic who gave him 6 months of bad readings, it separated the pain. So he was able to deal with the bankruptcy first, get on his feet, start rebuilding, and only then deal with the heartbreak of losing the woman he was in love with. And notice, I'm not saying give bad readings on purpose. No, I would never do that. What I'm saying is do the best you can. And if you happen to give someone a bad reading that is factually incorrect, just know and trust that that is exactly what they needed. That sometimes the bad reading is much more healing, much more powerful than the objective truth. And again, it's subtle. I'm not saying do it bad on purpose. What I am saying is do the best you can and trust that the universe is going to give every client, every person you read, the perfect reading for them in that moment. Our goal is to have it line up with objective truth, right? That's the goal. But it doesn't always work that way. So if you're learning this stuff, if you're an aspiring healer or reader, just know there is no such thing as a bad reading. There's only a reading that doesn't line up with the way life unfolds or presents. And a lot of the time, that bad reading could be the best thing. In fact, it might even save someone's life. Pretty powerful stuff, huh? So I would love to hear from you in the comments. If you or someone you know has ever gotten a bad reading, let us hear about it. I'd love to hear your horror stories about bad psychics, right? But I'm also curious, for those that got a bad reading, did it end up having a silver lining? Was that bad reading exactly what you needed, even though it was incorrect? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to learn more about me or this work, please join us at the live Healathon webinar. I do them maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 times a year. Just go to my website at awakeningdynamics.com. We'll put the URL on the screen here for you, right? It's also down in the comments. Sign up for the Healathon. I won't just talk to you about cool higher dimensional effects for a while. I'm going to do some interactive processes with you. I will show you how to check yourself for subconscious blocks. We'll do some demonstrations of subconscious block clearing. I'll even train you into the quantum field and turn on your ability to see energies and auras with your open eyes, for real. So check it out. You don't want to miss out. Again, make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe. You don't want to miss out. We got a lot more amazing videos coming in this series. I am Brent Michael Phillips signing off for now. And until next time, please take care and namaste.